1, 2, 3. Julia Child's gonna teach us how to make the Diplomate, pudding de cabinet. We're making cabinet pudding.
Ah! Bon appetit.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to our kitchen. Please make yourself comfortable. Season's greetings, depending on when I release this video. I do have the Grinch spatula ready to rock. That means it is time for cabinet pudding, because I kind of been wanting to make this dessert around the holidays. It's something I've been saving for years for the right moment. And last year I made the fancy rice pudding of Julia's, kind of on the same plane as this, with its glacéed fruit. Extra fancy fruit cake mix. Extra fancy. This delicious and most classical of French desserts does not take too long to prepare and can be baked the day before your dinner party, if you were to have one. Not over here. It's kind of lonely. The custard is baked in a mold lined with ladyfingers, which must be of the best quality, tender and dry, not spongy. Ladyfingers. Tried making them before. These are not inspiring any confidence from me whatsoever. In fact, how did it go so south? I was first thinking it was called cabinet pudding because the ingredients kind of give me this vibe of like, you take everything that's in the cabinet, you put it in the dessert. Like a kitchen sink kind of deal. But then the Diplomate, what's going on there? Well, according to artificial intelligence here, cabinet pudding is named so because it was considered a particularly fine dessert, often served to high-ranking individuals in the British government, essentially making it a cabinet-level dish. Cool. I was trying to look up like where this thing originated. Some people say France, others say it's like a bread pudding in England kind of thing going on. I don't know. I'm just gonna make it. Did I mention I'm gonna make my own ladyfingers? So we are gonna start this off with making these ladyfingers. Let me go fetch a friend. Of course, that is the Silver Fox. Silver Fox. 6 egg yolks. Gradually beat in a cup of sugar into the egg yolks. Medium speed. And then 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. It's not gonna take long until it's thick and pale yellow, a couple minutes. What we're after here is the ribbon stage, so I can lift the beater up and the mix falls from the beater into the bowl, lands on the surface into some like ribbon shape, and then it slowly dissolves into the mix. You don't want to push it too far. So that's done. Bowl, thank you. The egg whites from 6 eggs, pinch of salt. Okay, so Granny's come to town because I'm gonna whip these egg whites up into stiff peaks. I don't like using the Silver Fox for this step because I just can't help myself. Okay, so I've reached soft peaks. Yep, I'm gonna sprinkle on 2 tablespoons of sugar. Stiff peaks, yep. Cool. Cool, so let's take 1/4 of the egg whites. Total of 1 cup of all-purpose flour. I only need to sift in around 1/4 right now. Sifting always takes so long when you're using flour or icing sugar or whatever, so I've found that if I just take a spoon and just kind of rattle the inside of the sieve, it goes a hell of a lot faster. I hope everyone's okay. Fold that all in, just until it's partially blended. Then another 1/3 of the egg whites, another 1/3 of the flour. Delicately fold in. Repeat the process until no more stiff peaks or flour, until light and fluffy. Batter into a piping bag with a 1/2 inch in diameter nozzle. I've prepared in advance. I have enough batter for hopefully more than 40 cookies. Let's start with this, see where this takes us. 4 inches long and 1.5 inches wide, okay. 4 inches? That's more than 4 inches. Don't go so freaking... Okay, stop there. That's what you want to do. Hopefully these do not spread. So in order to encourage them to rise and to halt them from spreading even more so, you want to sprinkle some powdered sugar on top. She says 1/16 inch of the layer. So let's get that into the middle rack of a 300-degree oven. F, of course, for around 20 minutes. Let's do the rest, but a much, much, much better job. God damn it. Frickin' hell, man. Frick. After 7 years of making this show, I can't tell you how much I still hate piping bags. I hate them. Like, what the hell is this? Just brutal, man. What the hell is... Okay, well... just forget it. Maybe the first couple rounds start off okay, but once that batter gets a bit too warm, it turns into a sloppy mess. They should be slightly crusty on the outside and tender but dry on the inside. Yeah. If they are not baked enough, they will become soggy when cool. They are. And over baking makes them dry. Yes, duh. As soon as they are done, remove them from the baking sheet. Okay. Cake rack to dry. They've been in there for 20 minutes. That's what freaking happens. They just fall apart as soon as you freaking... Okay, we're going back on it. So stupid, these stupid things. 300 degrees Fahrenheit for around 20 minutes. I did for longer than 20 minutes. They're not baking all the way through. It's impossible to gauge when they're done. They're just a big mess. They're stupid. Yep. I hope they're doing well. Honestly, I hate these things. She says as soon as they are freaking done, take them off the parchment paper. I'm so over this shit. Honestly, I can't. I hate ladyfingers. Mark my words. I will never, ever try to make ladyfingers ever again. For as long as I shall live, I hope to have a few more years to come. Never again. To really explain my anger at the situation right now, because you're wondering like, well, why are you so angry? You just attempted them once. Well, no, I tried them a couple years ago. It failed. And then unbeknownst to you, I have tried twice now. Here's my first attempt. This was yesterday and I hated my results with a capital H. So I just put them in this and just like left for the day. So here it is tomorrow. I thought I'd give them another shot. And again, the exact same results as I got yesterday as I got 2 years ago. So I'm stuck in the situation with a bunch of crappy ladyfingers. Hey, that one, no, it's got a hole in it. It's got a freaking hole in it. It's just like some of them are way too cakey. It was in the oven for, I guess, not long enough. And some of them are like this. Like this is good. This is the one that is actually good. Okay, bad example. And then I have some like this that are just kind of like, you know, falling apart. Like, see what I mean? It's just kind of... And then there's rest of, I can't get that off the baking pan. Look how crappy this one is. Like the top came off. Oh my God. That would have been ideal if all of them were like this, which is kind of the texture you're looking for. This is not gonna hold up against what is about to come its way. So I got some problems. I got some big problems. I'm going with store-bought. Final answer. Just a much different look, feel, and vibe to these ones than my results. I did have a taste test, a little more stale. Mine tasted like cake, where this is kind of cardboardy, but I don't think it's gonna matter what they taste like because we have big plans for them and they just need to be right. Moving on. So start this off with everyone's favorite, raisins. 1/3 cup of them, and I drop them into some boiling water and let them hang out in there for 5 minutes. Okay, drain the raisins. Thank you. Those go into a bowl. 2/3 cup of the glacéed fruit. Make sure there's some cherries in there. Cherry 1, cherry 2, cherry 3. Okay, good. Now she says to make sure it's finely diced. So I'm just gonna dice it up even more so than it already is, like how it came. Okay, in the bowl with the raisins goes the fruit, along with 3 tablespoons of either kirsch or rum, a dark rum. I'm opting for the kirsch, which is a cherry brandy. What did I say, 3 tablespoons? There you go. All right, I'm gonna let that just hang out until I'm ready for it. Next up is 1/2 cup of apricot preserves. Apricot, don't care. Into a saucepan. However you say it, you be you. You know what I'm gonna do is heat that up because I'm gonna need to pass it through a sieve, and it's gonna go through that much easier if it's warm, hot, whatever. What I need to do is pass it through here. It needs to be nice and smooth, and any of the apricot skins are left behind in the sieve. 1/2 cup of strained apricot preserves. So you need some sort of dish that you can pour some booze into. There's 1/3 cup of kirsch, or as Julia would describe this, just a whisper. 20 to 25 store-bought ladyfingers. Remember, not going the homemade route because those sucked. I don't want to relive it. One by one, dip the ladyfinger into the liquid, and then I drain it on a cake rack. That whisper of kirsch went fast. Anyone that has been watching for a few years knows how much I love this thing. It's my 6-cup Charlotte mold. It's a Charlotte mold. We've made many recipes using this thing, many memories, and we're about to start a new one. So first things first, get some butter into my Charlotte mold. And then I have a parchment paper circle that goes into the base. Following the directions on page 585. We got drawings over here. Cut the ladyfingers into wedges. Like that. This should work. My homemade ladyfingers would never have been up for this challenge. All right, so the bottom has been lined with various wedge-shaped ladyfingers. I'm just gonna grease up the sides of the Charlotte mold too, just in case. Now I gotta take whole ones and line the sides. Now in a saucepan, I have 2 cups of milk. Hello. Thank you. The grated rind of an orange. Providing that you like the skin on your fingers, just take it easy. I'm just not in the mood to get all banged up for this one, you know? Bring that milk up to a boil. In a bowl, I got 2 eggs that I have in this container, don't ask. Along with 3 egg yolks that are in a coffee mug, again, don't ask. And a 1/2 cup of sugar. You can ask about the sugar. I'm gonna mix this with the granny until light and foamy. Okay, very much light and foamy. So gradually beat in the boiling milk, but whatever you do, do not cook those damn eggs. Look how foamy this thing is. Stop, stop. What's going on here? Why is that so foamy? It is what it is, I guess. All right, so sieve. Thank you. And I need the, whatever leftover kirsch is in with the fruit and the raisins. I'm gonna need to grab that. I don't know if there is any. It's hard to be certain, but I think there was some in there. Now what? What about this? Not yet. It's hard to see what the hell's going on in this thing because of all this foaminess. But is there a custard underneath? There's gotta be. This custard is incredibly runny. I have a feeling that's what beat the eggs and egg yolks and sugar in a mixing bowl until light and foamy, and then gradually beat in 2 cups of boiling milk, which I did. And then now that's what we're using. That's what we're using. Okay. That's what she says we need. So now I bring over the charlotte mold lined with the ladyfingers. She says to spoon a ladleful of the custard into the prepared mold. It's very runny. That's what she says to do. All that foam as well. Gradually, that's the custard. This is all she said for the custard. It doesn't need to thicken up or anything. That's what it's supposed to be. Over it, sprinkle a small handful of the fruit and the raisins. This doesn't make any sense. Because when I start adding things that are heavy, like the fruit, it doesn't matter when I add it because it's all going to sink to the bottom because all this is milk, 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 Just keep going for now. I'm reading the recipe correctly. 2 to 3 tablespoons of the apricot preserves. Cover with 2 or 3 ladyfingers that are not soaked in booze, and then spoon a bit of the custard over top of them. Wait for a moment for the ladyfingers to absorb the custard. Continue with more fruit and raisins, the apricot preserves, 2 or 3 more ladyfingers, more custard, more of the fruit, more of the preserves, ladyfingers, more of this runny custard. What's left is just the remaining custard. I can't tell you how many times this has happened where I start doubting a recipe at this point, and then I call an audible and do something stupid off book, and then I ruin everything. So I'm not gonna do that today. I'm just gonna trust what she's saying in this recipe. But I have literally no idea what's going on with that custard. I guess it's gonna solidify a little bit in the oven, but like what the hell, man? It's all runny and bubbly. Trim off the protruding ladyfingers around the edge of the mold. I think if I just take some of those end pieces and use them as the base. There. The pan that has some high edges, boiling water into the pan, charlotte mold into pan. Do you want a little more boiling water? Just a touch, just a hair, just a whisper. Oven's preheated to 350 degrees F. In it goes. Immediately turn the oven temp to 325 degrees F. And I bake that for 50 to 60 minutes. Making sure the water in the pan never comes to a simmer. I waited the full hour. I have absolutely no idea what's going on with this dessert. I don't know if it turned into a custard or if it's still runny. About 10 minutes ago, it was still runny. So I don't know, I've been checking it as best as I can, but it's hard to get a read on it. Like I've been lifting this piece up, like did it thicken up or not? I don't know. So I gotta take a needle and plunge it into the bottom of the mold. I've been doing that, but it's hard to get a read on it because there's just so many ladyfingers in there and I can't tell where the custard is. So there was an unnecessary bottom layer of ladyfingers that wasn't doing anything. I didn't know if it was custard underneath or what, so I just peeled it off because it just doesn't need to be there. I wanted to make sure that this thing was really gonna set. So I had it cool off on the counter, then I had it in the fridge for a little bit just to, and now I am running a knife around the edges of the custard just to loosen it. So I was thinking something fancy like this for my cabinet pudding. What do you think? And heard a drop. 1, 2, 3. Order up! Now once you unmold this thing, you need to surround it with a strawberry sauce. And I already have that made. I've made it so many times on this show, most recently with a cheesecake. So I always have some on standby hanging out in the freezer for when the time comes, like right now. what I'm gonna do here is have one of these hang out in an oven that has been preheated a little bit, just to warm it up. Great. And then this one will be enjoyed cool, because it can be either one or the other. First, a cold dessert. How does that go? Those ladyfingers soaked in kirsch. That was a choice. Hot, hot. Okay, and now we're gonna serve it warm. What do you say about the cabinet pudding? It's a very, it's a nice dessert, you know? It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it is good. It's got a nice sweetness going on with the custard, and the surrounding ladyfingers are obviously soaked in booze, which is nice, but don't serve it to kids. It's got like that bread pudding vibe to it, but with cake, it's ladyfingers, and I'm so glad I didn't use my own because those sucked. But this whole thing is very melt in your mouth. Besides the fruit and the raisins, those don't melt in your mouth. I think maybe too many raisins. I like raisins on their own, but when you start adding them into desserts, there's a thing as too much, and I think there was too much here. Glacéed fruit, I like that around the holidays, you know, whether it's in this, or fruitcake, or fruitcake. I'm talking as if I like fruitcake. I don't really, it just reminds me of Christmas. But yeah, if you're serving glacéed fruit desserts to me after January 1st, get that out of my face. You know, it's not like something that you're gonna go yell from the rooftops that you had cabinet pudding, but it is a nice dessert. Did I talk about the strawberry sauce? It's so good, but it's very sweet, in your face kind of thing, sour, yeah, tart, whatever. It kind of steals the show, and you're like, okay, what am I eating underneath that strawberry sauce? So don't go crazy with strawberry sauce. Anyway, I kind of gotta go because the custard's starting to leak out of the dessert. That's it. That's all. This was Jamie and Julia. Bon appetit. Au revoir. So welcome to a new segment called I've Got Mail. And I do. I recently told you guys that I opened up a P.O. box because I'm always being asked, how can I send you something? Well, this is how, a P.O. box. So I went there and there was stuff waiting for me. I was actually kind of shocked. Been using this one for 2.5 years to keep Julia in place. Hugs, Drum Babe and Danielle from Catherine Chestnut. What is it? Oh, it's a cookbook holder. Oh, this is my current cookbook holder? And it sucks. I hate this with everything in my soul. It always just like topples over. Are you serious? Thank you, Catherine. Thanks for the great videos over the years. I enjoy this book and hope you will too. From T. Dishum. From Bombay with love. Through the course of these pages, you will go on a gentle walking tour of South Bombay, peppered with much eating and drinking. There's recipes in here too. Chicken tikka. Thank you very much, T. I love my new book, and it goes so well with my new cookbook holder. What could it be? Thanks for the great show. Maybe one day you'll brave a recipe from this one, from a big fan. Thank you, big fan. Alinea. This is the Alinea, Michelin star restaurant. It scares the bejesus out of me, but one day I will make recipes out of this book. Thank you. Thank you, big fan. Thank you, T, and thank you, Catherine. That concludes I've Got Mail.